Robinson Crusoe, adapted for English language learners at level A2 by Story Steps. Epilogue, Home Again. When I stepped again on English ground, the world felt strange to me. The streets were busy, the houses close together, the air full of voices. After so many silent years, I almost missed the wind and the waves. England was my home, but it felt new and unfamiliar, like a dream I had forgotten. I went first to the city of York, where I was born. The road was long, and many things had changed. The fields looked smaller, the towns larger. When I reached the house where my parents had lived, I stopped and looked. A new family lived there now. My mother and father had long since died. I stood at the gate for a long time and felt both sorrow and peace. I had left them without goodbye, and now only their memory remained. I whispered, "Father, you were right. The sea is dangerous, but it taught me how to live." I found some old friends who still remembered me. They listened with wide eyes as I told my story about the storm, the island, the goats, and Friday. Some shook their heads, not sure if they should believe me. Others cried and said, "God saved you for a reason." They were right. I had been foolish once, but the island had changed me. I no longer dreamed of adventure for its own sake. I dreamed of peace. In London, I found a lawyer who helped me recover my fortune. Years before, I had owned a plantation in Brazil. When I disappeared, everyone thought I was dead. But my friends there had kept my land safe and saved the money it earned. When they learned I was alive, they sent me everything. Suddenly, I was a rich man. It felt strange to hold money again. On the island, I had learned that food, water, and a warm fire were the only true riches. Still, I was thankful. I used the money to help some poor families and to send gifts to the Spaniards who had been with me. Friday stayed close to me, quiet but happy to see new things. The streets and noise of London frightened him at first, but he learned quickly. He liked the markets and the smell of baked bread. He often said, "Many people, but few friends." I smiled because I understood. After years on the island, we both valued quiet company more than crowds. One day, I met a kind widow who helped me organize my business. She listened to my story with gentle eyes and said, "You have lived many lives in one." Her words stayed with me. I began to write down my memories so that others might learn from them. I wanted people to know that courage and patience can grow even in the darkest place. Friday and I lived in England for a few years. He learned to speak English well and went to church with me. People looked at him with surprise, but he did not mind. He said, "I free man. No care what they think." His calm spirit often reminded me of my own lessons on the island. Sometimes late at night, we sat by the fire and spoke of our old home, the cave, the goats, and the stars over the quiet sea. We both missed it, though we never said so aloud. But peace never lasts long for men who have lived too long with adventure. Ships still called to me when I saw them in the harbour. The sound of sails in the wind moved my heart. Friday, too, would sometimes look at the horizon and say softly, "Sea calling." I knew what he meant. After a few years, we joined a voyage to the east. I promised myself it would be a short one. That journey brought new troubles and dangers. We faced storms, sickness, and strange lands. But I was no longer the same man. I had learned to face every hardship with faith and reason. When others lost hope, I told them, "God saved me once on an empty island. He will save us again." And often he did. Friday stood beside me through all of it, strong and loyal as ever. Years passed. I grew older and returned to England again. Friday, my dear companion, died of illness not long after we landed. I buried him on a green hill by the sea and planted a small tree over his grave. When the wind blew through the leaves, it sounded like waves on sand. I stood there for a long time and said, "Farewell, my friend. You were my brother." After that, I lived quietly. I never married, but I cared for the children of my friends and helped travelers who were poor or lost. Sometimes young men came to me, full of dreams about adventure. They asked, "Should I go to sea?" I smiled and said, "The sea can teach you much, but it will take more than it gives. Be sure your heart is ready." In my old age, I often thought of my island. In my mind, I saw the fields of grain, the goats near the cave, the footprints on the sand, and the fire burning at night. I no longer feared storms or being alone. The island had been my teacher. It had taught me faith when I was hopeless, work when I was weak, and peace when I was alone. Sometimes in dreams, I walk again on that beach. The sun shines, the air smells of salt, and Friday walks beside me, smiling. I hear the sound of the waves and wake with tears, but not of sorrow, of thanks. Life had given me more than I deserved. I had been lost and found again. Now, as I grow near the end of my days, I write these words for those who will come after me. Let them know that courage, patience, and faith can build a home anywhere, even on a lonely island. The sea may take you far from everything you know, but it can also bring you back to yourself. And if you ever find yourself alone, remember, no man is truly alone who walks with God.